So today I thought I'd sit down and do a wee Q&A. I've been meaning to actually do this for such a long time. So yes, we're finally here, me and Winston. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Caroline. I am a certified personal trainer, pre and postnatal specialist. I am 37 years old, a mother of 2 children, and I live in Northern Ireland. I know everyone's been working through different workouts, but if you've joined me today for the cardio challenge, well done. It was so nice to get a big long shower after that one. And I hope you've really enjoyed the last few weeks as well with the wee mini series. There was the unilateral series, the tempo, the calisthenics. There's so many there, all on the playlist section if you ever want to revisit and you really just want like a 7-day structured workout. There is also the beast mode, which is 2 weeks. Of course, Epic 1 and 2 and HIIT are over 10 weeks. So if you're looking for something that little bit longer. So I'd like to just go through some questions that have appeared on the YouTube channel, also within the community posts and Facebook community itself. First of all, the workouts. Who records the workouts? During recording, it is only me in the room. The camera is placed on the fireplace and I have my 2 lights and that's me ready to go. All of the workouts are actually recorded in my front living room. So I actually no longer have a front living room as such. It's more like a small studio. So all my mats and my yoga blocks and my water bottles are all in there as well. Do I have a team to help me? I have a small team at the moment. It really does help me out a lot. I have an editor who obviously edits the videos. However, I definitely have a big input in that as well. First of all, relaying the actual information of the workout, then incorporating the music. So the music is generally all my choice, and then double checking all of the workout as well. It is a lot of fun though, as I get to have a great input into the design, the colors, etc. If you're part of the Facebook community, you'll also see Frida and Charlotte. They help out a lot within there. And of course, you guys. You help me out so much, particularly within the YouTube comment section and the Facebook community. You support one another. You actually provide links to other workouts to help other people. You provide your feedback and also encouragement. So I'd just like to thank you very, very much for all of your support. I know, of course, which workouts you really like and the fact that they actually help motivate you even more within the workout. If you're having fun, you're enjoying it. However, there will always be those sort of workouts that pop up that you just aren't so keen on. But sometimes they're the ones that you really do need to do. In regards to the whole business side, my husband definitely helps out there a lot. I also have to send a wee message to my 2 children because they have helped me so much. We're all a little team in this household. We pull together and get it done. And somebody asked me, do I match my outfits to the flowers or the flowers to the outfits? Generally speaking, I match my outfits to the flowers as best I can. Some days it's a little bit more tricky than others depending on the colour of the flowers, but I actually have a lot of fun with it as well. This all began when I uploaded a couple of my workouts for my clients who I actually couldn't train at the time due to lockdown. So I basically had my phone, I recorded some simple workouts, shared them through WhatsApp. One lady asked, could I put it on YouTube so she could watch it on her TV? I did that. Then a few different people who I didn't recognize actually left comments under the video, and then it just sort of grew from there. So basically at the very beginning, it was just me and my phone on a window ledge. There was no mic, there was no lights. You can actually look back at some of the very first videos and you will see as well just how shy I was actually in front of the camera. I have got a little bit better, but I still get a little bit nervous actually speaking in front of a camera. But when it comes to the workouts, I'm fine, I'm really confident in that. So yes, I simply started this channel with my phone and that was it. But I think what is at the heart of this YouTube channel is the workouts. Keeping it simple, quality workouts, really making you feel amazing after, and that is really all it comes down to. Anything else is a bonus. Obviously over time I have invested in a mic and an actual camera, and it has made a big difference. Somebody also asked who would take my photos for the YouTube thumbnails. That is simply just me at the beginning of the workout or after the workout. You can maybe tell I'm not the best person at taking photos, but as long as you see me and a smile, hopefully it shows you that it's going to be a fun session. So seeing a couple of questions, people were asking, why do I do body splits? So for the likes of chest and triceps, back and biceps, shoulders, legs, glutes, etc. For me, it allows me to really focus on those muscle groups, get a lot of volume, and hopefully hit each main muscle group at least twice per week. I always include my full body Friday as well. That opens up the opportunity to include exercises that maybe wouldn't be able to fit into necessarily our chest session or leg session. So yeah, definitely full body movements. I love to incorporate those on a Friday. You may have noticed as well, if you've been doing the workouts, if there's a lower body session on a Monday and a lower body session on a Wednesday, it will then be upper body focused on the Tuesday. However, if that Tuesday is maybe shoulders, then on Friday, it will be a lot more of back and chest, less shoulders. So it all sort of balances out. And the thing to remember is there is always a lot of crossover. If you're doing a shoulder session, the triceps are involved as well. In fact, if you're doing shoulders, chest or back, the arms are getting a solid workout as well. So the arms are constantly getting work, even if it's not a specific arm workout. Same applies to the core. I do of course love to incorporate planks, etc., but not necessarily all the time. You do get a lot of plank work within push-ups. Also, the core is involved within so many full body movements. Also bent over rows, also the likes of frontal raises where you're actually bringing the weight out in front of you. All those movements incorporate the core. And of course, let's just touch on high intensity Sundays. So yeah, it's nearly always HIIT on a Sunday. It's always sort of been a tradition of mine to do HIIT on Sunday mornings. I know of course there are some people who prefer not to actually complete the high intensity workout on a Sunday, even within a program. And of course you do not need to. You can leave out any specific day as it may just not suit you. But I would just like to cover the fact that sometimes when you're doing a workout classed as high intensity interval training HIIT, it maybe isn't actually properly high intensity. You're actually able to see me during an actual HIIT session, whether it be a 20-second period of work or 30, sometimes 40 seconds of work. I can't literally do another second. I'm completely out of breath. I've given it 95% of my effort. Obviously, some exercises you have to go that little bit slower, but yeah, I'm really going for high intensity and really earn my rest period. That is why I only do it once a week. It is very taxing, and I always ensure Sunday evenings I rest and recover. I know that there are so many HIIT workouts out there, but to be honest, most of them are not actually HIIT, and that's fine as well. They're simply interval training at a lower intensity, which is absolutely fantastic and obviously can be a lot of fun. So you may sometimes be thinking you're doing HIIT 3 times a week when really it's not really high intensity. Occasionally you'll see I put a cardio workout up, and some people have asked, why is there no breaks in the cardio? It's just really my way of thinking. If I wanted to just simply move my body, you could go on the cross trainer for maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes at a moderate pace, sustain that level for the duration. Or you could go for a very slow jog. And that's sort of what I'm trying to replicate with the cardio, no breaks. Just a steady pace, maintain, you're trying to keep going. Although sometimes you could definitely forget yourself with those cardios and get your heart rate up that little bit more, but it's up to you to try and keep it steady. So staying on the topic of workouts for now, some people have asked, why do I do so much repetition in the actual workouts? Many of you, of course, have been doing these workouts, and you probably realize how important it really is to actually build strength, build muscle. And actually just how enjoyable it can be knowing, okay, I've got 3 sets of this or 4 sets of that. We all do love, of course, a no repeat workout every now and again. But when it comes to resistance training, the repetitions really are so beneficial. When somebody actually goes to the gym, very rarely would they do 1 set of chest press, 1 set of pull-ups, 1 set of lat pull down. They would maybe do 3 or 4 sets, if not more. When I actually first started sharing the no repeat workouts on YouTube at the very beginning, it quickly became apparent that on YouTube it was the thing to sort of do no repeats. Every exercise is different, keep it entertaining, keeping everybody motivated. But I think many of you have come around to the idea that repetitions really do matter. And so many more of you have been joining me from the gym. So you are of course used to actually 3 to 4, 5 or 6 sets. I do get asked, are these workouts for everyone? Absolutely. You only have to look at the comment section below, the Facebook community and also Instagram to see the huge array of different people joining us. We have grannies and grandas, mums and dads, people just starting out on their fitness journey. We have members of the NHS, armed forces, doctors, bikini competitors, bodybuilders. We also have professional athletes ranging from triathletes, sprinters, endurance runners, boxers and kickboxers, tennis players, cyclists, and also entire families joining together. Pretty awesome. Also in every single country in the world. That just makes it so much more exciting knowing that so many different people are doing what we're doing together. Okay, another question, my favorite training day. So that is a tricky one. I've always loved training chest. For some reason, chest makes me feel really strong. Obviously the carryover into push-ups, brilliant. and the work on your arms. When you work your chest, you're really working the backs of your arms. And I think sometimes this can be overlooked. The triceps are a major factor to chest press and push-ups, in fact, as well as, of course, building muscle in the triceps. Same with the back. When you train your back, also those biceps are involved a lot. But I would say my favorite workout after it's finished is definitely leg day. You just simply feel amazing after a solid leg day. Some of my favorite exercises, I'm sure you can probably tell by now, Bulgarian lunges. I love makers, I love burpees, squat to press, chest press, bent over row. Okay, that's too many, but yes, you get the idea. I'm sure you see those popping up all the time. So somebody asked me what is my favorite sports brand, and I'm sure you can tell by now, Nike is up there. I also love Adidas and Lululemon. If you see me wearing a pair of leggings, usually on upper body days or during ab sessions, the leggings will more than likely be the Align pants from Lululemon or the Nike yoga range. So yeah, I do have my favorites. When it comes to buying sportswear, sometimes I do find it really tricky to gauge what size, particularly because I do a lot of it online. So sometimes the shorts may be a little bit too tight on the thighs or a little bit too big on the waist. And also the sports bras, particularly when I'm doing high intensity work, they have to be pretty solid. I don't want anything moving. So what I tend to do is if I find a pair of shorts or leggings that I really like, I try to build up a collection of that type in different colors, etc. over time. So you may notice I have the same shorts in different colors, the same leggings, different colors, and of course the sports bras in different colors. Building it up over time, I do look out for the sales. In regards to trainers, I'm pretty flexible. I definitely like the Nike Metcons, but also I can go for something different from Nike. Also the Adidas NMDs and the Boosts. This is not sponsored, by the way. I'm just genuinely telling you what sort of things that I like. In regards to trainers, it can be a very personal thing. It's definitely worth maybe trying it on. I just know that most Nike trainers and those Adidas generally suit me. Somebody asked me as well what size I would take in my sportswear, and the thing is, it differs between each brand. So to be honest, a brand I might go a certain size, and in another brand I may actually have to go up 2 different sizes. I've actually bought shorts that I cannot get up over my thighs. I've purchased sports bras in maybe a size that I would typically be, and it is really low cut, or I can't actually button it at the back. So yeah, it can be quite a challenge to get sportswear to really fit you good. But again, if I do get something that fits me well, I will try and over time keep an eye out for new colours coming out. Another question, how often would I spend stretching? So I'll link below the 20-minute routine that I generally follow. I know this off by heart pretty much, and this is something that I would do at least once a week. To be honest, after HIIT, it is the perfect time for me to just really take it easy for the next 20 minutes and really stretch out after a hard week. Or I might actually do it in the evening, light some candles, put it on the screen and simply follow along for those 20 minutes. There have been a few requests for warm-ups, more upper body focused and lower body focused, but generally the warm-ups that I would do are more full body. When it comes to an upper body day, for example, more than likely there'll be some push-ups in there. So yeah, I definitely will be using my entire lower body, so I make sure that I do warm up my lower body and also my ankles. When it comes to a lower body day, we'll be holding dumbbells, so I always like to actually warm up my upper body, also my wrists in particular. I've had a few questions about my current running, and at the minute I am only running occasionally, so I would say maybe once a month, and really that is only if the sun is out. I went out for a run just the other day actually. I didn't even turn my watch on, I just wanted to enjoy the sunshine and listen to some really good music. Obviously for the last year and a half or so, a lot of events have been cancelled, postponed. So I haven't had an event or anything to train for. I haven't signed up for anything since. So yes, at the minute, if the sun is shining and I feel like I just want to go out and enjoy it, I'll stick on my trainers and go for a nice, easy half-an-hour run. A question popped up regarding what other exercise do I do apart from the actual workouts on YouTube. So yeah, I do walk Winston nearly every day for about an hour. This is at a moderate pace and it's really good time for me to catch up on a lot of work and also sometimes just to chill out. Winston obviously needs his walks and he really does love his wee daily walks. It's also a great time for me to actually think about things and plan the next few workouts. Of course, on top of that, as a family, we do like to get outside, and some weekends we may do paddleboarding, we may go out on the bikes, we may go rollerblading. Also, Cave Hill, which is near to where we live, is fantastic for hiking, and long walks on the beach. That's definitely one of my favourite things to do. I live quite near to the shore. However, there is a place that I will literally drive to. It takes about 20 minutes, and it's Helens Bay. I will walk from Helens Bay all the way to a town called Bangor, get a coffee, get a 99. I can't resist when I see the Pokemon, I just have to get a 99. Somebody asked me how important is rest. Rest allows for your body to recover, rebuild, come back stronger. And for me, trying to get in and around 8 hours sleep is a big part of it. Also, those walks I do with Winston really do help with any muscle soreness as well. I always go at a slow to moderate pace. Rest days for me are usually the Thursday and the Sunday. However, they can be active days as well, but it's not strenuous, it's not lifting. Or even sometimes I fancy doing just a longer session on abs. So may do 20 or 30 minutes ab session. It just depends on how I feel. Somebody asked me how often I actually wash my hair, considering I work out so much. I actually wash my hair once or twice per week, and that sort of does me. As you can see, I've washed my hair today, so it's all nice and fresh. But it never lasts. I think that's one of the challenges of being so active. It's not that often that you have a good hair day. Sunday evenings are usually the time I would run myself a big bath, maybe spend half an hour in there just relaxing with candles, face mask on, hair mask on, and really feel pampered, ready for the week. Favourite takeaway? Definitely a chicken tikka shashlik. We have an Indian takeaway nearby, and the chicken tikka shashlik is just amazing. I love to have a choice of sauces, so it would be vindaloo, tikka masala and jalfrezi, along with some pili rice and chips. I do love chips with salt and vinegar. A wee question was my favourite foods in general. So I do like pretty much every single food there is. There's not really a lot that I don't eat, apart from maybe mangoes and apricots. That sort of thing, that's the only thing that I don't like. But if we're talking about what I really love, sea bass. Sometimes I'll actually check out if a restaurant has sea bass on the menu before I make a reservation. Second, that would be a good steak. I also love ice cream. Who doesn't love ice cream? But my favourite is actually the ones that come from the ice cream van. You get that, the strawberry sauce and the flake. I kind of can't say no when I see one of those at the beach. I actually love a good fish supper. Loads of salt and vinegar, mushy peas and gravy. That actually leads me on to the next question. What do I typically eat in a day? So yeah, not every day do I eat out and have sea bass, and not every day do I go to the beach and have a 99. But for an example, today I had a coffee, semi-skim milk, then I had my breakfast a little bit later. So I had 2 boiled eggs, 2 slices of wholemeal toast, 2 turkey rashers, brown sauce. So it was basically like an egg and bacon toastie. That's quite a handy meal for me to make, plus the whole family can eat that as well. I then had a small snack. It was just some strawberries cut up in a bowl, a drizzle of honey, some chopped almonds, and a tub of the 0% Fage yogurt. Lunch was actually an egg white omelette and pretty much the entire bag of spinach and smoked salmon. That was a very quick lunch, very high in protein. A snack this afternoon, I'll maybe have 2 or 3 rice cakes, a tin of tuna in spring water, then some avocado and maybe some sweet chilli sauce drizzled on top. Come dinner tonight, I haven't really decided what I'm going to have just yet, but it'll probably be something very simple, again like a chicken stir fry. Chicken, loads of vegetables. Come the evenings, I can actually sometimes eat quite a bit in the evenings. If you watched my last Q&A, which I'll link below, you'll know I love the Barbell salted peanut protein bars, so I have one of those pretty much every single night. Also recently, I've been loving a little combo of Cadbury's Highlights hot chocolate along with protein porridge. So the likes of Tesco's sells the protein porridge, which is actually in sachets. Simply put the sachet in a bowl, add some water or milk. I either put it on the hob or in the microwave, and then once it turns to a thick consistency, I'll drizzle it again with some honey and some chocolate flakes. So maybe 9 o'clock tonight, I'll be having those porridge oats and also a cup of hot chocolate. I try to have protein with every meal, breakfast, lunch and dinner, and often snacks as well. I love to have fish 2 or 3 times a week. Chicken and turkey is definitely a staple. Lean mince in particular is so versatile. There's lots that I can make with that. And I can't say no to a really good steak. Loads of veg, side salad, some skinny fries and peppered sauce. When it comes to fruit and vegetables, to prevent as much waste as I can, I generally buy for the next 2 or 3 days. So for example, if I buy broccoli and asparagus, I will know that I'll be probably eating that for my dinner the next 2 or 3 nights. The same with the fruit. If I maybe buy apples and strawberries, I know that they will do us for the next 2 or 3 days. What we do have in the house, we definitely go through quite quickly, and then it means there's little waste. In the freezer, I do try to stock up on frozen fish, a whole array of frozen vegetables. Staples in my fridge, definitely eggs are in there. If eggs are your thing, one of the things I actually love is maybe 4 or 5 boiled eggs, but I would take the yolk out of maybe 2 of those, put them in a cup, mash them all together, and a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. It is delicious. So quick and easy as a snack, high protein, simple. Gotta also have my faz yogurts. They're a great snack for me. In regards to carbohydrates, I had mentioned in the last Q&A, I just always mix it up. Try to go for the whole grains as much as possible. Sources containing soluble and insoluble fiber. And again, carbohydrates are definitely within most of my meals. Within my cupboards, I do have a big selection of spices and herbs, sort of add flavour to all those meats. Aside from that, I do try to have a stock of tinned fish. So tinned sardines, tinned tuna, and tinned salmon. Those can be really handy. See, tin of tuna, 2 slices of whole grain bread, lettuce and tomato in a sandwich. That can be your lunch. Nice and easy. I had mentioned in the last Q&A, I don't count macros or my calories, but what I would say is I've learned about food. So for me, what I try to focus on with most of my meals is a good protein source, complex carbs, and some healthy fats. Healthy fats may be coming from the avocado, the oily fish, the oil that I actually cook in, or those chopped almonds. I just keep it simple, trying to avoid processed food as much as possible. This doesn't mean I don't eat processed foods. I absolutely do, but I try to keep them just to a minimum and be aware. I do think it's important for people to be aware of what they're putting into their bodies. And I would say the likes of FitnessPal is actually a great app for you to learn about food. So it's maybe something to think about. It is definitely good to learn, and you'll always take that with you. A question popped up that was quite interesting. What is the hardest part of doing what I do? And also, what is the best part of doing what I do? We'll start with the best part. So the best part, definitely all of you guys. Without you, I wouldn't be sitting here. You wouldn't be watching me. You make this happen. You have asked for this. You are up for it. You are really embracing all the challenges. And to be honest, as you have actually grown stronger and more confident with me, it's actually making me do all these little challenges and all the workouts that I've always wanted to do. All these little ideas that maybe if I had to put them up way at the start on YouTube, it'll be quite clear from the comment section that people just simply did not like it. So yeah, thank you for challenging me to motivate me to challenge you. YouTube is a fantastic platform. It's helped me actually reach a global platform and also have a lot of fun with my creativity. It is our channel together and we've built this together. However, of course, there are always limitations. So limitations, particularly with the music, I do try to put as much effort into the music as I can, depending on the feel of the actual workout, the tempo, the pace, the breaks, the intensity levels. I do try to keep the music as interesting and as fresh as I can. All my music at the moment comes from Epidemic Sounds, and they have a wide variety, so I'm always looking out for new songs. Not so much for what I do, but for other creators, YouTube is a great platform as well for seeing trending topics. However, this then of course can lead to sort of copying other creators' content, and I've definitely been aware of this going on. In fact, it was drawn to my attention that a creator had taken pretty much my entire program guide, changed a few words about, and was actually selling it, making profit out of the work that I had put in. And sometimes it can be really frustrating, considering the fact that I put so much time, effort, and thought into these workouts. Also on YouTube, you may have seen some of the fantastic reviews done of maybe the 10-week Epic 1 or Epic 2 or Epic HIIT programs. These reviews are made by people who have actually joined us on the journey of those 10 weeks, and it is actually fantastic to watch. It shows the really high points, but also the low points, keeping it real, and shows just how much dedication and perseverance is involved in completing those 10 weeks. I just want to touch on this as well. There have been creators who have used my name in their title in order to get views and therefore money without actually having done the workouts. And I just wouldn't want their opinion to ever tar what your impression of the workouts are. This could be considered a conflict of interest, as they could be trying to simply promote their YouTube channel or their paid programs. So it's just something to think about. If you're new here, give the workouts a go and see for yourself. Of course, not everyone likes to do push-ups, not everyone likes to do high intensity work, and not everyone likes to do lunges. I completely get that, but it's just something I want to make you aware of. And this also applies to other industries as well. So just be aware of conflict of interest when it comes to reviews. So this next bit, it's more of statements that I've received rather than questions, and it relates to the fact that I don't use clickbait on my videos. The main reason I don't use clickbait in the videos is because I wouldn't do it in real life. I wouldn't have had a client come to my studio and say, okay, we're going to do this exercise and you're going to do this 6 minutes every day for the next 6 days and you're going to get 6-pack abs. Because first of all, I'm setting them up for failure. I'm setting myself up for failure, and it doesn't quite work like that. Another reason, of course, I don't do clickbait is because the views aren't everything for me. I know I could put an ab workout up and say 6 minutes, 6-pack in 6 days and probably get loads of views. But I do feel as creators, we have a sense of duty to those who are maybe starting out on their fitness journey, who are learning and can be influenced by such titles. I know that some clickbait videos, once you click onto it and read the description, in maybe the small print, it might go into a little bit deeper, or contained within the video or the introduction, it may go further to explain the fact that this is clickbait. However, not everybody reads the description box below, and also not everybody actually listens to the introduction before a workout, for example. I think in today's society, and more than ever, fitness and aesthetics, how you look, are being crossed over. I know, of course, they do correlate in many ways. However, sometimes it can be overlooked that focusing on your actual level of fitness, having fun, challenging yourself, those small accomplishments, over time lead to changes within the body anyway. Then, of course, we actually have body trends. This applies to males and females, but definitely more so females. What I will say is, over the last 20 years, I'm very happy that I have not wasted time worrying or comparing myself to others, because the truth is, I would never have fitted into any of those body goals, body shape types, trend bodies that were out there throughout the last 20 years. They have changed. I would never have fitted any of them. And in fact, today, the images that media would actually put upon us to try and portray what is the perfect body type, much of it is actually not attainable or real. If you're watching this and you have had those thoughts of, I don't look like the trend body that is out there today, life is genuinely too short. The last 20 years of my life has genuinely flown by. I've done a lot, but it has went quickly. I truly believe that training how I want to train and what makes me feel good inside has really built my inner confidence. I've never been what media, etc. would maybe classify as the perfect look or the perfect shape, but I'm better than that. I'm a strong person, and to be honest, next year there'll be a different body type, a different body silhouette that a lot of us will try to aim for, strive for, and quite often it can leave you feeling that you're just not good enough. That is not true. We are good enough. Training, feeling strong, being strong really does give you confidence. And you know what? Confidence is beautiful. I have been contacted, particularly actually through email, from creators asking any advice for new creators on YouTube. What I would say is, number one, be yourself. Yes, the analytics side of YouTube, it can show you what others are doing and how well they're doing. But if you try to focus on what you can bring, your own original thoughts, and remain true to yourself, you may find that others will enjoy your original content. Keep it simple at the start, and of course over time you can do little upgrades with lighting and camera. Also, really listen to the actual people who are leaving you comments. That will help build your channel, shape it so that you grow as one big community. So quite a few questions on plans for the future. In fact, I think it was roughly this time last year where I had to make a decision whether to return to actual personal training or continue to share these workouts, particularly during the time when many of us were in lockdowns, we couldn't access gyms, even dumbbells were limited. Obviously, I made that decision to see it through, so it's quite difficult for me to say what the next year or so will bring. But I can confirm this year has been a lot of fun. I've had some amazing opportunities relating to sponsorship, brand deals, app companies, and it has been a privilege to be asked. However, when something comes along that is just right, I will know. Somebody had asked what a typical day in my life was, and a typical day would be kids are back at school, so I do the school run, come back, have a big coffee, then maybe sit for maybe 2 hours. It just depends on what sort of workout it is. Plan the workout for that day. Sort the flowers and the outfit out, record the actual workout. That is sometimes the simple part of it the less time consuming is actually the recording of it. It's all the other work that is involved. That's not to say it's not the hardest part. Sometimes I am a bit anxious. I know that I'm going into the likes of EMOM, or I'm going to be doing nothing but push-ups for the next 30 minutes. And I know that it's going to be challenging. And once that's done, I generally walk out of my living room, walk over to the freezer, put my head in the freezer. I then write out an overview of the workout, send it to the editor, collect the kids from school, home then for homeworks, dinner, try to walk Winston for an hour. Then come the evening, I check the workout, so I go through every single thing, put in the tips, select the music, write up the description, pick a thumbnail from a couple of the pictures that I've taken that day, go through some general admin, and that's my day. Fair to say, once my head hits that pillow, I'm out. Winston, look, who's that? Who's that? Who's that there? And he's back to say thank you for joining us. Winston, you want to go walkies? Yeah, you want to go walkies? I hope I haven't talked too much. Thank you so much for joining me. Just before me and Winston head on our walk, I just want to let you know this week I'm actually going to be taking off from filming workouts. It doesn't mean I'm actually not working out. I'm just working on something that's coming up. There are actually a couple of workouts that I already know that I'm going to do, and one of them is the killer upper body workout. So what I'll do is I'll provide a little suggested sort of schedule for you this week if you want to sort of do what I'm going to be doing this week, and I'll put those below and also in a playlist. And of course I'll keep you posted what is coming up next, but rest assured I'll be working hard this week. I hope you all have a fantastic week wherever you are. Hopefully this wee chat was interesting and insightful and maybe give you something to think about. But thank you very much for joining me and Winston, wherever he is. Maybe he's way to get his lead. And I'll see you soon. Bye.